Hello, the North American Terrorist Organization, or NATO, as they call it. Now, obviously, that's meant to be a different name, but is it really? We all know that NATO is 70% paid for by America. There is nobody in NATO that disagrees with the Americans. In the end, everybody goes along with what America wants. So, really, is it a North Atlantic Treaty Organization? Very simply, America is miles and miles away from Europe. What on earth are they doing in NATO? Do we have to have NATO interfering in wars between Israel and Iran? Do we have to have NATO interfering and holding trials or sea trials in the South China Sea along with other props? Do we really need to be doing all this aggression? If NATO was a defensive alliance, it wouldn't have expanded in the way that it has. And of course, always behind this is the nonsense that you've grown up with since childhood, that Russia are bad, China are bad, these people are bad, under the banner of freedom and democracy. That always seems to be the way, doesn't it? If you don't accept our version of freedom and democracy, then we'll bomb the living daylights out of you. Look what happened with Yugoslavia, where they actually bombed the Chinese embassy and a TV station just because they thought we don't want them putting out this message. So we'll kill the people inside. That's NATO for you. Now, NATO is a defunct organization. It is not a defensive organization anymore. And the political arm of that is the European Union. NATO is the bullying arm of the European Union and the Americans. The Americans run the European Union. They tell them what to do. And they tell NATO what to do and the countries inside it. Now, this is just wrapped up, should we say, niceness of old colonialism. And very simply, this is the rules-based order. You can only do what we tell you. Well, who said that you get to make the rules? Very simply, people turn around and go, oh, Iran, nuclear weapons and everything else. North Korea have got nuclear weapons. They're not bothering anyone. The only time you hear from North Korea is when you are about to do something that impacts on them. Most of the time, North Korea wants you to leave them the hell alone. And every now and again, they will issue a threat to do so. But when was the last time North Korea invaded anywhere? What they did was lend some troops and they've sold weapons to Russia. How terrible. We haven't done the same in NATO. Are you going to tell me no Germans, no Brits, no French, no Americans have turned up on the battlefield? You see, there was this huge furore when North Koreans turned up on the actual battlefield and started getting some experience. If you look at every single NATO country, they've helped arm Ukraine and they've helped kill Russians. So where is the problem when the other side do it? The double standards and the hypocrisy that comes out of NATO is quite staggering. And of course, as I say, the European Union is just the political arm of NATO. It's not a force for good. It's a force to be used to subject anyone to anything they see fit. And of course, if you disagree with it in any way, shape or form, then they overthrow your government. Normally starts with the usual thing, with a protest, then that turns violent, then someone dies, and then, of course, the regime change comes in. This is what NATO is being used for. It's what it's been used for a long, long time. NATO is a defunct organization. NATO is just an arm of America. And as such, it should be completely disbanded. NATO was meant to look after the smaller countries that couldn't look after themselves. Should there be an attack from the old Warsaw Pact countries, when you had the big bad Soviet Union. The big bad Soviet Union would actually like peace. They want peace. But of course, it has to be peace on their terms because they offered a peace deal. And of course, we turned it down and decided to carry on killing people. And we said we would back Ukraine 100%. Well, let's just get into that a little bit, because when we say we will back Ukraine 100%, it's complete nonsense. And NATO are helping Ukraine out. They're helping Ukraine to lose 1,000 bodies in the latest exchange. 1,000 Ukrainians have been given back to Ukraine for 19 Russians. Since when do NATO and everybody else who want Ukraine in NATO just to annoy the Russians, got nothing to do with Ukrainians? If you would just examine this for 2 seconds. NATO are backing Ukraine, who are throwing 60-year-old civilians into the front line to be slaughtered. When Ukraine asked for troops to help them out, to put troops, Russia said, don't put NATO troops into Ukraine. That has always been our red line. They're still talking about it. Zelensky asked for troops to go in. Every single person there said no. They were not going to send troops. Lots and lots of noise without the Americans. So NATO is completely useless. We should say no. We should say no to NATO because it's nothing more than another arm of America and the rules-based order. No to NATO means no to America and the war hawks that keep funding these wars. They've funded so many. This is just the latest, and that they happen to be losing. But they've still got to go to Iran. They've just taken over the Zangezur corridor. How long before NATO are in there, honestly? And how long before, of course, NATO forces turn up to fight over China in 2027?